Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing? Welcome to a new episode of the CMA Show. This is a live episode here on YouTube every Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific. Thank you so much for those of you who have joined. I look forward to spending an hour with you answering your CMA related questions about the exam, the designation, career, anything you guys want. I am here today to guide you and just answer all the questions you guys have. Before we get started, let me just say hello real quick. Hello, Akash. Welcome. Satyam, welcome. Oh, Satyam, rather. Satyam, welcome to today's show. Hey, Sunny. How you doing? Welcome. And you were here last week, I believe, so welcome back. Frozen, hello. What's up, Adam? Hey, Adam. Good to see you again, man. I think you were here last week as well. For those of you who are new, if you can just type new in the comments so that way I know it's your first time. And for those of you who have joined me before, thanks so much for being here another week. So today's question is, what can I bring here? Where is it? Here we go. What to bring to the CMA exam. So that's the question that I'll be going over today. The answer is pretty straightforward, but for those of you who are new to the CMA or your exam is coming up and you just want to make sure that you will be bringing all the necessary documentation and study tools and whatnot, then this coaching call is absolutely for you. All right, Satyam, so you're new here. Well, welcome if this is your first time. So you're more than welcome to drop questions in the comments and I'll be responding here and there and I'll answer as many as I can during this entire hour. Hey, Kenyatta, welcome. Varsha, hello. This is great, guys. I'm glad to see all of you here. So let me have a quick sip of my coffee. Oh, all right. So just out of curiosity, how many of you are taking the exam during this exam window? Just let me know. I just out of curiosity. Sufian, what's up? Welcome to today's show, my friend. Fridays are always so fun because I get to spend time with you guys for an hour, and this is something I look forward to. Yasmini, hello. I'm glad you could make it. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and get started. All right, now the question is, Kenyatta, your exam is coming up. Adam, you're taking the exam in October. Excellent, excellent. So Kenyatta, I hope you're feeling prepared and, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And today, this is perfect because now you will know what you can bring to the CMA exam with you because we just want to make sure that whatever you bring, it does not get banned. For example, choosing the wrong calculator, right? Or you bring additional study tools that are not necessary or they just won't let you bring that in. So might as well tackle that. Here, let me turn this volume down a little bit. So let's tackle that topic and let's dive right in. So the first question is related to this one is, when should I show up at Prometric? When should I go to the Prometric Center the day of the exam? Now, the IMA recommends that candidates show up 30 minutes prior to their exam. My recommendation, that's great. My recommendation is to show up a little bit earlier if you can, maybe 40 minutes, because it's a day that, anxiety levels are going to be high, the stress levels are going to be high, naturally, because you'll be nervous. And I was nervous when I took the exam because I spent so many hours, right? 20, 25 hours a week studying for my exam. So naturally, I feel nervous because I don't want all of those hours to go to waste. And naturally, you want to pass on your first attempt. And that's how I felt. So anxiety is going to be up. The stress is going to be up. So what I did is I showed up to the testing center around 40 minutes before my exam. One, because then I was able to acclimate to the test environment, right? Just to the office, to the Prometric Center. get a little more comfortable with the environment, and that will definitely help bring your stress levels down. Because we know that when the stress levels are really high, cognitive skills drop, and we don't want that, especially when it comes to this particular exam, because as we know, it's a pretty tough exam. So we want to be at our tip-top shape, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. All right, so show up maybe 40 minutes before. That way, you can, like I said, get acclimated to the test environment, to the testing center. Check in. You will need to provide a valid and non-expired identification with a photo ID, with a photo. And the photograph, the picture, has to look just like you, okay? I mean, that goes without saying, but the IMA does specify that the ID card needs to look just like you, and definitely cannot be expired. If it's expired, then that's gonna be a problem, right? You can bring your passport, and I think with the passport is more than enough, but has to be active. But if you don't have a passport, then you can bring a driver's license or some sort of government issued ID. Now, student cards are not acceptable, so do not bring your student ID card if you have one, because that won't be a valid ID. And the worst thing that could happen is if you show up to the testing center and you don't have the right documentation with you, unfortunately, you will not be able to take your exam, because you're gonna have to drive home or walk home, or wherever home is in relation to the testing center, grab that information. And what's gonna happen is, most likely by the time you get back to the Prometric center, it will be too late. And as you know, exam fees are non-refundable. So we need to be super careful with this, because we wanna make sure that you have everything that you need when you show up. Now, the minimum is 2 forms of ID. So if I were you, I would bring a third one. I would bring, for example, my passport, which is probably all I need, but as a backup, I would absolutely bring with me my government issued ID, like a driver's license, all right? And you can bring something else that you may have, maybe some credit card with your photo on it or something. The IMA specifies which particular IDs you can bring. For those of you who are just joining, we are going over what to bring to the CMA exam when it's time to take your exam. By the way, if you have a military ID, that works. Okay, a company ID also works, but like I said, student ID cards are not accepted, and a social security card is not accepted either, because it does not have a picture, right? It's only the number. So make sure that whatever you bring as an ID, that it has your picture on it. So like I said, to summarize, a passport, driver's license, military ID card, even a credit card is fine. But by the way, these documents have to have your signature, and the signature has to match, okay? The signature has to match the signature that you are going to check in with. Everything has to match, because that's how the rep at the testing center will be able to identify it. Once you have all those things sorted out, the night before, put them in, if you carry a backpack, put them in your backpack. If you carry a purse, put it in your purse, but put it somewhere where you know you will not forget, okay? This is very critical. And if you can, add your calculator to this little packet the night before. That way you'll remember that your calculator, your IDs are all in one place. That way there's no way that anything will get misplaced, and you'll be prepared for the exam. Now, one thing I do want to say is, the night before your exam, I understand the level of nervousness because you've spent so many hours, you've sacrificed so much, right? You stopped going out with friends for a while. You didn't go to all your family functions. Maybe you just stopped doing things fun because you spent all your time after work studying for the exam. So you had to sacrifice a lot. So I understand the level of anxiety that you will have the night before. And what happens is that a lot of candidates, what they do is let me turn this down a little more. What they do is they will cram the night before. And I think that that's counterproductive. I think it's important just to let your mind rest So the day before your actual exam, I would take the entire day off if I were you. I mean, that's what I did. I took the entire day off before my exam. I just relaxed. I just walked around. I forgot what I did, but I know I didn't study. So my recommendation is that you do the same, because you just want to feel rejuvenated, whatever that means for you. If you like facials, go get a facial if that makes you feel rejuvenated. If you like to go for a light bike run, you're gonna ride your bicycle, then go for it, but just do it very light, nothing too intense. If you want to go to the beach and relax, do that. If you want to go get a massage, do that, or just do something that will relax you in general, that will bring your stress levels down. However you manage your stress, do that the day before. Because cramming is not going to really do much for you at that point. You've spent months and months, I hope you spent months and months studying for the exam, right? So it's coming up, you've done your best, trust that you've done your best, all right? And take that day before your exam off, just relax, especially the night before. Don't eat anything too heavy, right? Have an early dinner. You want to feel energized the next day, not lethargic. So have a light dinner, depending on what time your exam is during the day. If it's in the morning, have a very light breakfast. If it's in the afternoon, have a light lunch, right? Nothing too heavy. If you're able to do this, I think that you'll be in a much better, you'll feel a lot better about going to your exam, and you'll be like sharp and ready to tackle it. All right, so that's what I wanted to cover today. As far as calculators go, the IMA has approved several. I'm not gonna go through those right now, but actually I could. I mean, why not? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna list them real quick. And for those of you who are just joining, we're going over this question. What to bring to the CMA exam, rather. So when it comes to calculators, the one that I really like and the one that I've used and I still use today is the Texas Instruments BA2 Plus calculator. That one rocks. So if you guys are still looking for a calculator, that's the one I would recommend. You can go on Amazon, type in Texas Instruments BA2 Plus calculator, and you'll find plenty. So just buy one of those. They also allow some HP calculators. So what I would suggest is that you go on my website after today's call, after today's show, and search for calculators, and it will come up. You can read my blog post on this topic, and I list all the calculators that are allowed at the testing center. So choose one of those and you'll be safe. And my recommendation is for those of you like Adam, your exam is not until October. So what I would recommend you do, and everyone else who is still preparing for the exam, is to get your calculator as soon as possible, because one, you want to get used to using that calculator. You want to know what the keys are. It almost becomes intuitive, right? If you get a brand new calculator that you have not used throughout your studies, and because you just got a brand new one before your exam, you're not going to be so used to the keys and everything else. So, I mean, it's not a big deal, but the less of a learning curve you have when it comes to anything you bring to the test center, the better. Because at the testing center, you will have to get familiar with the interface of your exam and whatnot. So the last thing you want is trying to get stuck and trying to figure out how to use your calculator, where the buttons are. Because remember, you only have you have only 3 hours to answer 100 MCQs. So time is of the essence, right? It's of the essence. So to my point, get your calculator as soon as you can. Use the same one throughout your entire study program and during your exam. And I think if you do that, you'll be fine. You'll be set. Okay, so I think that was as far as what I wanted to cover with you today in terms of that one question that I get asked quite a bit. So now that I've covered that, let's jump into Q&A, shall we? This part is really fun. And I promise I am going to do my best to answer all your questions in the next 45 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the list. And again, I just wanna thank you guys for tuning in to another live show. I look forward to these shows every Friday. It's just super fun. And by the way, if you have not subscribe to the channel yet, please do so. That way, when I publish a new video every Monday, there's one coming up this Monday, and the topic is about, for the video is for those who have failed the CMA exam and what they should do next to pass the second time around. So that video is coming on Monday. So if you want to be notified, just subscribe to the show. And then that way, every Friday, you'll be notified when I schedule a new live episode. And lastly, if you want to get my free CMA exam cheat sheet, it has 9 tactics that will help you pass the CMA exam. The link to grab it is below this video. If you're listening on the podcast, then the link is in the show notes of this episode. All right, now that I've said all that, let's move on and to Q&A. There are a lot of questions, but before I do that, let me have a quick sip of my coffee. I'm having coffee black, drip coffee. It's so good. It's very strong, but it's really good. All right, let's see. Hey, what's up, Tanya? Welcome to the show. Hey, Adam, I'm glad you like the intro. Just trying something new to spice it up a little bit. I appreciate your feedback. Oh, Alfadel, your exam is tomorrow and you're nervous? Hey, man, it's okay to be nervous. It's completely normal, but try to manage that a little bit. Like I said earlier, try to relax. You've done your best. You've studied really hard for the past months. So at this point, just trust that you've done your best and go relax. Don't try to cram. Just, put your books to the side. Maybe tomorrow before your exam, just review some key equations that maybe you're not feeling very confident in, or that you just want to review, but it has to be a very light review. I want to make sure that when you show up to the exam, Alfadel, that you are sharp and you're ready and feel refreshed. That's the goal, right? So good luck, and please come back next Friday and let me know how you did. I'm super excited to get just to hear about how you did. Also, Kenyatta, you too, please come back next Friday and let us know how you did. Give us some idea as to what kind of questions you got, how difficult the exam was. I bet everybody here today will want to know, because their exam will be coming up after you. So if you can come back next week and share your experience, that would actually be really awesome. So I hope you do. But besides that, I wish you both the best of luck, and I hope that you too will pass the exam on your first attempt. Whew, I'm excited for you guys. This is going to be great. Sufiyan is asking, how can I start studying? Well, Sufiyan, a great way to get started in this process, through this journey, is to enroll in a CMA review course. A CMA review course will provide you with all the tools that you need to study, and also depending on the type of company you go with, some are self-study, others provide a weekly guided program like the Academy, like my program. But you got to see the options and see which one best fits your learning style and what you want to get out of a review course. But that's what I would suggest you do first and foremost. Well, even before that, you want to make sure that you meet the qualifications. If you have a bachelor's degree, it really doesn't matter what degree, in what industry or what type of degree. What matters is that you get it from an accredited university. So if you already have that, that's great. That qualifies. Now, when it comes to work experience, you can take the exam before you accumulate that work experience necessary to be officially certified. So you don't have to have that yet before taking the exam. But I will look into the requirements to become a CMA and just compare to your background, compare to your experience, and see where you're at. Once you've done that, then I would recommend getting a CMA review course if you decide that you do want to pursue the CMA designation. Great question. Let's see. Whoa, so many questions. This is great. Yasmini is saying, in part 2, how can I memorize the formulas? Because I feel I get lost. Is it recommended to write them before the exam in a scratch paper? Okay, so this is a really good question, Yasmini. I know that in part two there are so many financial ratios, right? There's just so many, but trust me, it's possible to memorize all of them. I mean, I've done it, and I don't think I have the greatest memory, but I've done it. So if I could do it, my friend, I know you can do it too. The key is trying to find the right study method that will help you remember all those equations and all those ratios. For me personally, what helped me was at first I was just reciting the ratios. I would just look at it and I would just recite it out loud, the equation, what it was for, so on and so forth. And after doing that for a while, I realized that I just couldn't keep it, I couldn't remember it. I always had to go back to read it. So instead, what I did is I just got a notepad just like this one. Let me show you. Just like this one, just a notepad. And I wrote the equations down, all the ratios, so many times. My hand was falling off. I mean, I wrote it so many times. But that is what helped me memorize the ratios, and I remember them super fast. So when I went to the exam, I could recall them so fast. So my recommendation, based on my personal experience, is to try and do that and see if it works for you. Maybe it won't, but if it does, then voila. That's the secret, right? So I would recommend giving it a shot and see if that type of strategy helps you. When you go to the actual exam, and for those of you who are taking the exam tomorrow and next week, when you show up to the exam, you will enter the test center. You'll be seated. You'll have your computer, and then you are going to have, I think it's about 5 to 10 minutes of a quick orientation to show you how to navigate the interface, your exam interface, and all that. If you finish that orientation fast and you have a little time on the clock, I would recommend using that extra time before the actual exam starts to do a memory dump on a piece of paper. They will give you a piece of paper and also a pencil, so don't bring that to the test center. They won't let you in with it. They'll provide you with it. And whenever you need more scratch paper, just raise your hand and the rep will come around and you can ask for more scratch paper, okay? But so what I was saying is that if you finish the orientation fast and you have a little bit of extra time, don't rush to jump into the exam. Use that time, like I said, to do a memory dump of all the ratios. Just write them out, as many as you can, or all the equations that you can think of in an organized way, so that you can always come back to and you know where things are. But I would recommend doing that, and that will save you time, actually. Okay, great question. Let's see. Adam is asking here. Hey, Adam, I'll put you on the screen. He's saying, do you recommend a specific calculator to use that are approved by the ICMA? Yes, I do. Like I was saying, I recommend the Texas Instrument BA2 Plus calculator. I recommend it because that's the one I used, and I loved it. It's such an easy calculator to use. I've had it for so many years. So I've had it for over, 9 years now. So they last. It's a great calculator. So that's the one I'm going to recommend. If you plan to invest in one, might as well get a good one, right? So that's the one I would recommend, Adam. But again, if you don't like that one, it's personal preference, you can go on my website, cmaexamacademy.com, and go to the blog and search for calculators. I think my blog post is at the very top of the page. And you'll see a list of all the calculators there. And just choose the one that you feel like could work for you. All right, everybody, this is great. Oh, what's up, Abdul? Welcome to the call, my friend. Welcome. Yeah, good to see you here too. Thank you for joining. Let's see, what else do we have here? Satyam is asking, just had a little doubt. So you gave your senior grade, your senior papers in India, you want to crack the CMA. Okay. I think it's important that you have some sort of accounting knowledge or finance knowledge for the exam. I don't know I'm assuming you're a senior in high school, 12th grade. I mean, that's what I think you're saying, but I'm not quite sure. If that's what you're saying, then I think maybe the CMA is too is too soon for you because you're just finishing high school. So I would recommend that you go to college, and in your senior year in college, then that would be a good time to start preparing for the exam, or even take at least one exam. So by the time you graduate, you will have your bachelor's degree and you will have already passed one of the exams. So you're going to be ahead of the game from all your peers, which would be awesome. But if you're in high school, it's a little too early. I would focus, if I were you, I would focus in college first, getting your degree and all that, and then in your senior year, go for it. Hi, Rosa. Welcome to today's show. Glad you could be here. Rosa, so she's asking, how can you advise people to study? There are many ways of studying, but I believe that you need to find a way to have some sort of structure. Self-study works for some, but not for all. After all, the exam pass rate is 45%. So more than half of the people who take the exam fail. And I think it's not because they're not smart enough, because they are. It's not because they didn't put a lot of effort, because I'm sure they did. I think it comes down to the methodology, the approach to studying for the exam. When I was studying for the exam, I was self-studying because that was the only option available at the time. And I didn't know if I was doing it right or if I was doing it wrong. I didn't know if I was spending too much time studying or not enough time. So I burnt a lot of hours just trying to figure out how to study. So when I finished and I passed both parts of my first attempt, thank goodness, I decided to help other CMA candidates do the same. And that's why I created CMACoach.com. And eventually I was asked to teach the CMA. So I created CMA Exam Academy, and I took what I learned from my test prep and built CMA Exam Academy to help candidates pass. And what's awesome is that the pass rate of Academy students is above 90% right now. It's been above 90% for over a year. And the industry average is only 45%. So that tells me, and that confirms and reaffirms, that it's not about the amount of effort that someone puts into it. It's about the methodology, about the study framework. That's what makes the biggest difference when it comes to preparing for a tough exam such as the CMA. So Rosa, after this live episode, I would recommend that you go to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on ways to study, study techniques, study tips, and please watch those videos because they will provide you with information on how you can study and how you can start the process as well. All right, everybody. Have a little bit of coffee. Here we have a question from Mr. Frozen. I like that nickname. He said that in the essay section, he wrote the equation. Oh, so you typed the equation into the essay module, but you didn't actually solve it. So your question is, do you get points for writing the equation or the break-even point? Oh, I see the CVP analysis, right? The break-even point equation, but solving it wrong or miscalculation. It really depends. Depends on what the essay question was asking you. If the essay question was asking you to show that you know the equation for break-even analysis, then by typing it, yeah, you could get partial points for that. But if the essay question did not ask that specifically, but instead is asking you to solve the problem, I'm assuming is you want to find the break-even point for a particular company. So what's the sales volume in dollars or in units, right? Because break-even is based on units or dollars. That's it. So if the essay question was asking you to solve for that, but you didn't and you only enter the equation, I am not sure that you will get partial credit because that was not what the question was asking, right? But like I said, if the question was asking you to show that to show the actual equation on the module, then yes, potentially you could get partial credit. But again, I am not 100% sure, so please don't take my word for it. It really depends. Without knowing exactly what the question was asking you, it's hard for me to give you a specific answer. But I hope that what I've said kind of gives you an idea based on what you know of that question. All right, Kenyatta. So Kenyatta says, yes, she will. Awesome. So I look forward to seeing you here next Friday to hear how you did in your exam and just your experience overall. I'm not going to be asking you for the questions you got because I think that's not allowed and I wouldn't do that. But I would love to hear just how you did. How was your experience walking into the testing center? Just overall, how you think you did, your performance in the exam, level of difficulty, that kind of thing. Good vibes. That's right, Kenyatta. Good vibes. I agree. Satya, I'm saying, by the way, Nathan, love you, sir. You provide such positive vibes from CMA exam fears. My pleasure. And thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I want to help you guys crush your fears because, fear is something that holds people back, not just when it comes to the CMA exam, but just life in general. And normally we have, well, at least for me, whenever I'm going to attempt something new, a big project, the CMA exam, anything that I've never done before, obviously I am going to feel a little bit afraid because I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Is the fear of the unknown, right? But fear is what holds people back. So the only way to get past it is to take action. So by taking action, you can overcome that fear or even move forward in spite of it. It may still be in the back of your mind, but by taking action and having some motion and moving forward towards your goal, you will see that you will gain confidence, you just feel stronger mentally, and you'll tackle it, you'll do well. Satyam, I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Hello, Mustafa. Mustafa is from Sudan. Hey, thank you for joining the show again this week. I appreciate it. All the way from Sudan. This is awesome. By the way, all of you who are here today, please let me know where you are tuning in from. I would love to know. I know we have some CMA candidates from India, others in the States, like California, San Francisco. Just let me know where you're at. I would love to know. So Mustafa is from Sudan. And so Mustafa's question is, how much theory should I expect in the CMA Part 1 exam? Mustafa, that's a great question. And trust me, I've wondered myself when I was studying for this exam, how many equations am I going to get? How many computational questions? And how many theoretical questions am I going to get in the exam? And you're not going to like my answer, but it's just the way it is. We don't know. We don't know how many theoretical you'll get versus how many computational. So my advice to you and to everybody who's taking the exam now or in the future, please, please, please be prepared for both types of questions. Okay? That will guarantee that you covered it all and that you are able to answer both types of questions. And if you think about it, when you study for this exam, memorizing is not enough. You need to really understand the material, be able to explain it in your own words. The level of learning from this has to be to the level where you can teach it. Because as a management accountant, that's what we do. When you prepare a financial statement, you go to an executive meeting. Guess what you're doing? You present the numbers, but you got to explain the logic and the reasons behind those numbers. And not only that, after you present the numbers to the executive team, what comes next? They'll be asking you for guidance. I'll say, all right, Mustafa, thank you for the information. Now, as a company, what should the VP of operation do? What should be our next step? To be able to perform at that level, you need to understand the CMA subject matter at a very deep level. Like I said, you need to understand it to the level where you can actually teach it. Because learning something passively versus actively, right? It's a big difference. Whether I can read a book, but then if you ask me to tell you what I read, if I can't do that, that means that I really didn't understand what I've read. But if I can explain what I've read with my own words, then that means that I really understood. So when it comes to the CMA, it's important that you are able to learn it to that degree. So whether you get a computational question or a theoretical question, it won't matter because you know the subject matter. Either way, you'll know how to tackle it. So my advice is that instead of trying to guess which type of question you'll get more, just learn the material really well, because this isn't only about passing an exam, right? We are taking this knowledge to the workplace, and there's where we are going to perform, and there's where we can actually use this knowledge and these skills. So Mustafa, I hope that that answer helped. Obviously, it's not probably the answer you were hoping to get, but I hope that it was helpful nonetheless. Oh, Adam is asking a great question. Am I allowed for a break during the test to go to the restroom? If yes, is it deducted from my time? Adam, amazing question. Thank you for asking. I totally forgot to talk about this particular thing. So yes, you can go to the restroom if you need to go, and if for any reason you need to take a break, you can. But the catch is that the clock will not stop running. So if you decide to step out of the test center or of the testing room to do whatever, restroom or check your phone or whatever you want to do, the clock is not going to stop running. And the second issue is that if you step outside the test room, when you come back, you will get scanned again. So you will still get scanned, and that takes a couple minutes. So that will delay it even further. So my recommendation is to sit there for 4 hours straight and do the best you can. It sounds maybe daunting, but that's what most people do. I mean, that's what I did. I didn't go to the restroom at all. So another tip, do not drink too much water an hour before the exam. Like, drink a little bit to stay hydrated, but don't chug water, because you'll probably have to go to the restroom, and that will take time away from your exam. You only have 1.8 minutes to answer every MCQ, and you have only 30 minutes to answer 2 essay scenarios, and each essay scenario is going to have between 4 to 6 questions. So I think you get the point, right? There isn't enough time. So drink a little bit of water. Don't chug too much water. If you need to chug water, do it 2 hours before your exam, and then an hour before your exam, just sip a little bit of water at a time, not too much. And then during the exam, I think you can bring water in there. I'm not sure, but if you can, don't chug water, just a little bit, just to keep your palate wet. That's it. Okay. But great question, Adam. Thank you for asking. Uday says, well said, Nathan. I said the same, which college degree gives some exposure to accounting and finance. Yes, which helps build basics. Uday, I agree. It's important to have some sort of accounting foundation or some sort of basic knowledge of accounting or finance before attempting the CMA exam. If for any of you who plan to take or who want to pursue the CMA but don't have any type of experience or education in accounting or finance, I think that it's in your benefit to take a step back, find a way to learn the foundation or the basics of accounting. There are so many textbooks out there. You can go on Amazon, look at foundations or basics of accounting and whatnot. Read that, study it, learn it, and then with that foundation, you can tackle the CMA. Otherwise, the CMA is going to be challenging because these topics are quite advanced. These are very strategic topics when it comes to management accounting. So going straight to them without any foundation is gonna prove to be challenging. I've had some students right now in my academy who are pursuing the CMA, and they're doing really good, but they don't have an accounting background, so they are going at a slower pace, and that's totally fine. So my team and I, we have developed a CMA accounting foundation textbook for them, so that way they can read that in case they're struggling with basic concepts. So once they read that, then they can go back and continue with the CMA. But like I said, there are a ton of basic accounting textbooks on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, in your local bookstore. you can just check it out. You don't have to even buy it. Probably you can just rent it from your local library too. Let's see. Great questions, everyone. Thank you again, by the way, for tuning in to the live show. I look forward to these shows every Friday. Muhammad is asking, are there any live lectures in in my academy, you mean? Not right now, Mohammed. I have students in over 60 countries right now, so trying to host a live class would be practically impossible because everyone is in a different time zone. So all my lectures are pre-recorded, and that has proven to be the best approach for all my students. And obviously, myself and 2 other CMAs on staff, we help our students Monday through Friday. We respond to emails within 24 hours or less because we believe that our students should get answers to their questions as fast as possible so that they can continue in their program. We don't want anyone getting stuck or just waiting for answers from us. So that format has worked really well. So I would invite you to check it out if that's something that you would like to pursue. CMAexamacademy.com is the website for you to go and take a look. But thank you for your question. All right. Hey, everybody. This is great. So Satyam is asking, you want to pass the CMA exam in your first attempt? I like that goal. That's great. Tell me how to study. Okay, well, like I was telling Susan earlier, I have a couple of videos in my YouTube channel. So after this live show, I would recommend that you go and check them out. And then if you have questions after that, please let me know. But I think those videos will definitely give you guidance as to how to study for the exam. Sufiyan is asking, how should I prepare for essays? Great question. I think that to prepare for an essay, what you have to do is take essays, and online test banks do come with them. So I recommend that you practice essays. The essays in my test bank in the academy includes model answers so that my students, when they enter their essay, they can compare to the model answer and see how close or how far they are from a model answer. But yeah, there are a lot of essays, but that's what I would recommend you do. Practice taking essay exams. Yasmin is saying, thanks, Nathan. Great advice. Well, you're very welcome, Yasmin, and thank you for tuning in to another episode. Murtaza is asking, well, he's saying that he has a bachelor's in economics. That's awesome. You passed 3 papers of the ACCA. Okay. 2.5 years working experience in finance and accounting with an NGO. Okay. 1.5 years in procurement. So am I qualified for studying for the CMA? Murtaza, based on what I'm reading, I think you absolutely are. You have the experience, you have the degree already. So I absolutely think you qualify, my friend. If you want to get started on your journey to the CMA, download my free CMA exam cheat sheet. Has the best 9 tactics that will help you pass the exam. The link is in the description box below the video. And if you are on the podcast, the link to grab your cheat sheet is in the show notes. Oh, Murtaza, you're from Afghanistan. All right. I think you are the first person from Afghanistan who has ever joined this live show. So welcome, my friend. Welcome. And Muhammad is from Pakistan, but living in Saudi Arabia. All right. And KSA, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. All right, Muhammad. That's awesome. We got Uday from India. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for being here. I love it that this is also international. So diverse. I love it. Muhammad is from Bahrain. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome. And you're very welcome. He says, thanks for your valuable advice. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Mio. Hi, Mio. So Mio says, hi, Nathan. I'm pursuing a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting now. I'm not sure if I want to pursue tax, audit, or managerial accounting as my career. I am kind of interested in all of them. Okay, Mio, fair enough. I don't know what year you're in your in college, but I think that as you take more classes in probably advanced accounting or whatnot, you will have a course on managerial accounting. That's a must class for any accounting major. So you will have that. You will have a class on taxes for sure. So, once you finish that class, you finish the managerial accounting class, then you will have another one on financial accounting as well. Those are all classes part of an accounting degree. So take those classes first, and I think that will tell you or give you a better indication as to which area you want to go towards. Okay, so that's the cool thing about an accounting major, that you get exposed to all various topics, and then you can choose the one that interests you the most. If you find that you love taxes, then maybe the CPA makes more sense for you, because in the CMA we do not cover taxes or audit for that matter. If you find yourself that managerial accounting is the most interesting and you really enjoy it, then the CMA is absolutely the right designation for you. So it really comes down to it. But like I said, I don't know what year you're in right now. If you're in year 2, year 3, I would say wait until year 4 to see, to get more classes under your belt, and then decide which one you want to go for. Great question, though. Oh, Mio's asking another question. I remember you mentioned in the past that tax and audit is not your thing. May I ask, how did you figure that out? Okay, great question. When it comes to taxes, I figured that I just was not interested in taxes at all, because I don't like doing my income tax return. That's it. That was my indication. If I don't like doing my own income tax return every year, I don't want to do it for anybody else. Okay, so to me that was a clear red flag, if you will, about taxes. I'm like, okay, that's not for me. When it came to auditing, I worked in accounting for almost 20 years. So we would have sometimes auditors from banks come into the company to audit the books. It was an annual activity. And I would talk to the auditors and be like, hey, so I would ask them questions about their job. And as a staff accountant, I had to provide a lot of the reports to them. And I noticed that, I don't know, I just didn't like the type of reports. I mean, I didn't like dealing with the data they had to sort through. And 2, whenever I left the office, they were still working in the office. When I came into the office in the mornings, they were already there working. So I would ask them, hey, do you guys work this way, like year round? And they were pretty much said yes. Auditing, it requires a lot of hours, long hours. Sometimes they work 60 hours a week, sometimes even more. So when I heard about that and I saw how they worked, I realized that I don't want to do auditing, because I do want to have a life outside of work. I don't want my career to consume every hour, every waking hour of my day. So that was another reason why I knew that auditing was not for me. If I had to do that in order to become a CPA, I would be miserable doing that. And when I become a CPA, I will have to do taxes. And I knew that I didn't want to do taxes because I didn't like doing my own taxes. So I hope that makes sense, Mio, but those were the reasons why I knew that the CPA was not the right choice for me. And that's why I went and looked for other designations. And when I found the CMA, it was perfect, because I wanted to work in management accounting, doing managerial accounting work, and the CMA was a perfect fit. So that's how I figured it out. But like I said, other people love doing taxation. They love that whole tax laws and all that. It's like a puzzle to them, and they love it. Other people really love doing auditing too, because it's also like a puzzle. They have to figure things out. So it really depends, and it comes down to personality, what type of work you like to do. Do you like to also, for example, if you do auditing and taxation, you might work alone a lot because it's just you and the computer and that's it. Some people are totally cool with that, and that's great. Others prefer more interaction in their day. They prefer to maybe lead teams. So a management accountant could definitely be a better fit. But it really comes down to your personality, what you want to do, what you enjoy doing. Because remember, this is your career that we're talking about. You're going to be doing this for the next 30, 40, 50 years. So why not choose something that you will enjoy? I know that compensation is a big consideration when it comes to the CPA and the CMA. I published a video Monday about the CPA versus the CMA, and you can go watch it after this live show. It's in my YouTube channel, and I compare both. And compensation is not that far off. CPAs make about $110,000 on average. CMAs make $116,000 per year. So it's not that far off. So compensation, of course, is a consideration, but I would recommend that you look more into the type of work you want to do. I think that's what matters in the long run. Sufiyan says, I'm from India. Thanks for your advice. You are very, very welcome. Thank you for being here. Murtaz is asking, is there an age limitation for the exam? No, there's no age limit. Obviously, if you are in college, if you're starting out in college, my recommendation is to not worry about the CMA yet. It's too soon for you. And if you're in high school, even, don't worry about it. Focus more on what career you want to go for first. But if you are in your third or senior year in college and you're looking into the CMA as your next step, then that's a good time to look into it. But before then, it's just not necessary. When it comes to, on the other end, if you are already close to retirement, if you have like maybe a year or two left and then you plan to retire, the CMA will not do much for your career at that point, in my personal opinion. But if you want to pursue it because you just want to keep learning something new, some people are lifelong learners, just like myself, and we love to learn something new constantly. And if you want to do it for that reason, then there's really no bad time to start, right? But if it's specifically for career advancement or salary changes, and if you're really close to retirement, then I think that you could be doing something else with that time. It won't be I don't think it will make much of a difference. But if it's just, like I said, if it's to learn something new, acquire new skill sets, then sure, why not? Yukman is saying, I am from United Arab Emirates. Awesome. Which institute here for online course? The cool thing about online courses or online review courses is that you can take it from anywhere. You don't have to choose an online review course from the UAE. That's the beauty about the internet. You have access to the entire world. So Yukman, I would recommend that you go online. You can go on cmacoach.com, and I have a comparison of the various CMA review courses all over the world. And you can choose the one that best fits you. If you would like to study with me, obviously, cmaexamacademy.com is the site to go. I invite you to check it out if that makes sense for you. We ship textbooks all over the world, including UAE. And I do have a lot of students from the UAE, by the way. Adam is asking, is there a sample lecture from CMA Coach to see before purchasing the program? Adam, absolutely, my friend. If you can, please email me after or whenever you can, and I'll send you the link to the demos of the videos, a demo of the test bank and whatnot, for sure. And also send you a sample of our textbook as well. Satyam is asking, how can I contact you, Nathan? You can email me, nathan@cmacoach.com is my email. So reach out anytime. I'm always reachable there. So nathan@cmacoach.com. Rajat is asking, CMA versus CIMA, which is best course for Middle East location? I think that the CMA is widely recognized, so I would choose that one. I'm a little biased because, I'm a CMA, but I've seen the reach that the CMA has all over the world, including the Middle East, and I believe that's the designation to go for. Actually, I am going to record a video about the CMA versus the CIMA in a month from now, or 2 to 3 weeks from now, actually. So subscribe to the channel so when I publish it, you'll be notified when that video goes up. Thank you all for all your questions. Is this helpful to all of you? Please let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. I'm open to all feedback, my friends. If there's anything I can do differently to make this live show even better, please let me know. All right, so Ukman is saying, I have a plan within 1 year. That's get CMA certification. Please advise me for the aim, and I will surely follow your advice. Still, I am a 6 years experience. Okay, so you have 6 years of experience in accounting, Ukman. That's awesome. That's a very good foundation, I think, to prepare for the exam. And if you plan to complete the CMA within 1 year, it's absolutely doable. Because honestly, my program, for example, is 4 months per part. So you could finish both in 8 months. Even long before the year ends, you'll be done with the CMA. So I would definitely recommend go to cmaexamacademy.com and check it out. But if that program you feel is not a good fit for you, it's totally fine. Just let me know, and then I'll help you choose a different program that may be a better fit based on what you need. Okay? I'm happy to help. Uday is asking, is a CMA able to provide client services from your own office like a CPA instead of working as an employee? Okay, gotcha. Uday, yes, as a CMA, you can provide specific services to companies. Have you heard of virtual CFO? A virtual CFO is a chief financial officer, but works as a consultant and consults for a bunch of different companies. And that's something that you could do if you wanted to have your own practice as a CMA. Now, could you do tax advice? Probably not, because only CPAs can do that. But if you wanted to provide like financial management advice, management accounting advice, and guidance to small companies or startups or even medium-sized companies, you absolutely can, because you will have the knowledge. Rajat, you're welcome, Rajat. My pleasure. All right. I got a lot of thumbs up from Uday. Well, that's awesome. Uday says your feedback really helpful for CMA aspirants. That's really good to hear, Uday. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Wow, we're almost an hour. Can you believe it? Time does fly. So before I leave you guys, just a quick reminder, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to like this video if you found it valuable. And get your exam cheat sheet. It's in the description box below. I think I've covered every single question. Hey, that is awesome. Sometimes we don't have enough time to cover all questions, but we did today. Okay, so I think with that, that's all. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, you're more than welcome to join us every Friday live at 12 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. So if you want to interact with me live, please join us. You are invited. And if you are watching the replay of this live episode, like I said, come join us on Fridays at 12, every Friday with no miss. I've been doing this for the past 2 months now, and it's been great. I love seeing familiar faces. I love seeing new faces. And best of all, I'm so happy to be able to answer your questions, because my mission as your CMA coach is to help you accelerate your career and your income to a 6-figure salary as a CMA. And the first step is to obviously pass the exam. You're very welcome, said TM. Says, by the way, good night, Nathan. Love you, brother. Love you too, man. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend, everyone. And I will see you next Friday. For those of you who want to reach out to me, nathan@cmacoach.com is my email. I respond to every single email I get. Take care, everybody. See you next time. Bye.